Hello and welcome. You're watching To The Point. When Rahul Gandhi described the electoral debacle in UP as a little down and the overall outcome in 5 states as not bad, did he reveal his failure to understand the enormity of the reverses Congress has suffered? Or was he putting up a brave face and behaving in a way similar to Narendra Modi and Amit Shah after the BJP's defeats in Delhi and Bihar? That's one of the key issues we shall discuss tonight. But we will also focus attention on the bigger questions regarding Rahul Gandhi's leadership and Congress's declining fortunes. My guests are a senior member of the BJP National Executive, Seshadri Chari, the Honorary Director of the India Policy Foundation, Rakesh Sinha, India's foremost sociologist, Dipankar Gupta, the well-known senior journalist, Kumar Ketkar, who will be with us shortly, and Congress Lok Sabha MP, Sushmita Dev. Sushmita Dev, let's start with Rahul's comment on the UP results. Your party contested 105 seats but ended up winning just 7. That's literally 6.6% compared to Mr. Modi, who won 81.25% of the 384 seats he contested. Yet this is what Rahul Gandhi had to say. We had a little down in UP, which is fine, we accept it. Most people think those words show that Rahul simply hasn't understood the enormity of the reverses Congress has suffered. How do you respond to that view?
Well, Karan, I'll say that there is no doubt about the fact that the stakes for BJP were much higher in the UP than it was for the Congress. Congress went ahead with a strategy where they tied up with the Samajwadi Party. Clearly, it didn't work. But I think, or I feel that what Mr. Gandhi was trying to say, that his stakes were not so high in the UP because we did have organizational problems. We had problems at the grassroots level, which we tried to fix, whether it was by bringing in a new PCC president or making organizational changes at the district level. But clearly, it didn't work for us. But when he said a little down, which has been overplayed a lot, I would say that he meant that our stakes were not as high in UP as it were for Narendra Modi ji. And I think he was graceful enough to say that we accept that defeat, and clearly we have to re-strategize in UP about how to rebuild the party.
If only Rahul Gandhi had spoken the way you just have explained what he meant, no one would have misunderstood him. But Seshadri Chari, let me put the opposite view to you. Surely it is the job of a party leader to boost morale and lift spirits, particularly in adverse circumstances. And to be honest, I don't recall Narendra Modi or Amit Shah publicly lamenting after the disastrous defeats the BJP suffered in Delhi and Bihar. So why should Rahul behave differently?
No, I remember, Karan, once when BJP lost an election, not even BJP, I'm sorry, Jansangh lost an election, Atal Bihari Vajpayee addressed a public meeting in Shivaji Park, and his opening remark was, "Hum chunav haar gaye, himmat nahi haare." That was his opening statement. We have lost elections, but we have not lost the courage to fight the next election. This is leadership. Bharatiya Janata Party had 2 members in parliament. 2 members.
So then,
from 2 we have become 282.
But then, Mr. Chari,
that is the leadership
Rahul
quality.
I'm
sorry, I don't want to comment on.
Surely Rahul is another example of what you're saying.
No.
He accepted they've lost, but he also was saying we haven't given up.
No, you cannot keep on losing elections and say that, look, we have lost. Yes. What does it do about it? BJP did not say just we lost. BJP started working for it. Narendra Modi is working 18 hours in a day. Rahul Gandhi did not even pick up the telephone of the Goa leader of the Congress party who was elected as an MLA and wanted to form a government. He phoned Rahul Gandhi and he did not pick up the phone.
Okay. Dipankar
He
Gupta,
did not do anything as far as the government formation in Goa and Manipur is concerned.
well, how do you
This
know?
is not leadership.
Now, hang on a second.
And
How
if
do
you
you
have
know?
this kind of a leadership, this is the result that you will
casting
get.
aspersions and making allegations, but how do you know he didn't pick up the phone and speak to the party leader in Goa or Manipur? How do you know that?
That is what the leader himself said. He is on record.
What?
He said it.
I don't know which
I'm
leader
not
you're
saying
talking
something
about.
that I do not
frankly,
know of.
and I don't know which record you're talking about, but I'll grant you the point you're making, although I have to
No,
admit
it
to the
is-
audience,
it is the
I
Congress-
haven't seen it, I haven't heard
Congress
it, and I don't
president-
know which leader you're talking about.
Congress
But Dipankar
president
Gupta,
of Goa said this.
Let's come back, Dipankar Gupta, to Rahul Gandhi's language. Is it not possible that he was putting up a brave face rather than minimizing or refusing to recognize what's happened? Surely, one way to interpret his words is to conclude that he's taken it on the chin, but he's determined not to give in, which is why he's making light of it, because that's one way of boosting morale.
Well, I can see why he wants to make light of it, but if he doesn't have a follow-up plan, a strategy, then this making light of it will probably have gone too far. When somebody says that I haven't lost the spirit or the courage to fight again, the only way that person can make this promise come true is that if they have a backup plan, if they have a fighting plan, they have a strategy in mind. If they're going to fumble their way right through the next election and the one after that and yet keep the spirits alive, it's an inauthentic way of bolstering your morale. And incidentally, when Ms. Deb said that didn't take UP elections seriously, it's a terrible thing to confess, because there is no election that the Congress party or any other party, once you're in the fray, you cannot take in a light vein. You have to take it seriously. And moreover, you knew for 5 years this election was coming. It wasn't sprung on you. So you should have prepared your groundwork well in advance. So I think that when a party is authentic and says, yes, we lost the election, but we are going to work on it and we're going to do something about it, and it was a very bad defeat, but don't you worry, we're going to come back, we are thinking things through. I think that is the kind of explanation that most people would like to hear, and I do not think that the cadres would lose morale simply because of this. The cadres instead would think that here we have a leader who's got things under control and wants to do something which will change our fortunes very, very soon.
You know, Kumar Ketkar, what you're actually hearing from Dipankar Gupta is that it's important, even when you're being careful with your words because you want to boost morale, not to sound as if you're denying reality and to in fact hit the right note of honesty. Now, unfortunately, in Rahul Gandhi's case, his comment didn't stop at describing the UP outcome as a little down. He went further. Despite the fact Congress lost its majority in Manipur, and despite the second fact that it failed to make a government in Manipur and Goa, though it was the single largest, Rahul still, and this is just yesterday, described the overall outcome as not a bad result. What do you make of that description?
Well, actually, I think Rahul is not as serious as he should be. He may be sincere and he may be, sometimes naive. But I think the downfall of the Congress in UP has begun not now. It has begun in 1989 when VP Singh was elected. And forget that time Rajiv was too young. But in 2011 when Anna Hazare movement started, Rajiv did not act at all. At that time he was vice president of the party. And after that, after taking over as vice president, between 2011 and 2016, what has he done in UP? In UP alone, because we are discussing against the backdrop of UP, what has he done in UP to put the organization in order? He has done nothing. At least I was in UP for quite some time during the election, and I did not see anything happening at all in UP at the organization front. To say that the cadre will be demoralized, cadre will not be demoralized, is saying too much, because there is no cadre worth the name. In UP, there is no cadre, and that's why there was complete chaos. I covered election. There were not even flags, there were not hoardings, there was nothing, no propaganda machinery at all. So I think Rahul is trying to not only lighten, but I think he is slightly trivializing also.
You may well be right, Mr. Ketkar, but I'll just point out one small correction. He became vice president not in 2011, but in 2013. But that doesn't really take away from the bigger point you were making. Rakesh Sinha, on the other hand, There was one point when, in fact, Rahul Gandhi's assessment that there are ups and downs in elections for all parties is absolutely true. As you heard Sheshadri Chari mention a moment ago, in 1984, the BJP was demolished to just 2 seats, and even Atal Bihari Vajpayee lost by over 2 lakh votes. Again, in 2004, when the BJP expected to win, it shrank to 138, and 5 years later, it fell even further to 116. And yet, 5 years after that, it bounced back with a majority. So when Rahul Gandhi says that there are ups and downs for all parties, all he's saying is just as the BJP collapsed and bounced, Congress too can collapse and bounce. That is a fact of political life.
There is a difference between 1984 when BJP got merely 2 seats. There was an emotional issue and the entire country was behind Rajiv Gandhi due to the assassination of Mrs. Indira Gandhi. So there is a fundamental difference. We should understand the leadership of Rahul Gandhi. For a political party, there are 3 things. One is policy, second is program, third is tactics. I start with tactics. Look, Sheila Dikshit was declared chief ministerial candidate in Uttar Pradesh. The way she was insulted, this had demoralized whatsoever the cadres with the Congress party had. Secondly, you just see the program and policy. Congress is undecided. It has not decided its policies towards it has no social philosophy. It has Antony Committee report which categorically said that Congress is being marginalized because it is being identified with a particular community. But it continued with the policy of appeasement. So I believe that Rahul Gandhi is a classic example of reverse leadership. Leadership get matured with the time passage. There is a maturity, but Rahul Gandhi is getting immaturity after every election. Just take 2 examples. He is not allowing any contemporary leader to grow because Rahul Gandhi himself is uncertain about his own status in the party.
And the second example?
His only virtue is that he is a part of a dynastic leadership.
And the second example?
Dynastic leadership. Second example is that Rahul Gandhi has diminished his party because he has made a Congress party with a big signboard and a legacy of a freedom movement and 60 years of Indian politics.
Okay.
He had made his party the appendix of the regional parties. He had the challenge to remake his party, but he is not taking the challenge. He became the soundbite leader.
Okay.
He always gives a soundbite, goes to a foreign country, he makes a joke of RSS and BJP. That is not going to give him the base.
You know, let me put, in a sense, Sheshadri Chari, a different perspective on the election results, which makes Rahul Gandhi and the Congress performance look very different. Set aside UP and Uttarakhand and look instead at Congress's performance at Punjab, Manipur and Goa, and actually, it's rather creditable. In Punjab, the party was just 1 seat short of a 2/3 majority, and that's after a pretty difficult 3-way fight. In Manipur, after 15 continuous years, and think of the anti-incumbency that builds up, it was just 3 seats short of a majority. And in Goa, not only did it knock the ruling BJP to second, but it ensured that the chief minister and 5 other ministers lost their seats. Now, in terms of these 3 states, when Rahul Gandhi says this is not a bad result, I put it to you, that remark could be the example of classic English understatement.
You know, in Punjab, Manipur and Goa, the results of the BJP, after the BJP got this kind of a seat winning, if BJP had said this is not a bad result, I can understand. You are talking of a party which should have crossed, given the situation in Goa, given the situation in Manipur and given the situation in Punjab, the Congress should have done what BJP has done in UP. So it is not a credit. And I personally feel at one stage, Amrinder Singh of Punjab, he threatened to resign from Congress and form his own political party. So I think whatever Congress has got in Punjab, Manipur and Goa is not because of Rahul Gandhi, but in spite of him. Had he gone to, did he strategize his party's victory in these places? No. So the victory in Punjab goes to Amrinder Singh and his strategy.
Okay.
The victory in Manipur goes to the Chief Minister of Manipur, Congress Chief Minister Ibobi Singh. The credit for Goa, if at all Congress has got 17 seats, goes to the peculiar situation that developed, and in spite of getting enough number of seats to form a government in Manipur and Goa,
Okay.
for 48 hours the party did nothing.
Let me bring in Shushmita Dev at that point. What you're hearing, Shushmita Dev, from Sheshadri Chari is that even if you only look at Punjab, Manipur and Goa, the description of the outcome should not have been not a bad result. It should have been, oh dear, what a terrible result.
No, I don't agree with him, because let me tell you, Prime Minister Narendra Modi has travelled across the country with his slogan, Congress Mukt Bharat, and clearly if this assembly election rejects that slogan of his, you cannot deny that. Today to say surgical strike, and then lose the defense minister state does not speak so well of that campaign about surgical strike. Apart from that, what is interesting about this election is Aam Aadmi Party, which there was so much of hype about, we've actually seen the downfall of 3 regional parties, and the fight has been between BJP and Congress, which actually, with great respect to all our critics, that I think, to my mind, it's a good sign that it's back to Congress versus BJP. And people thought Congress is finished, it's eliminated. I mean, we were criticized for tying up with Samajwadi, saying that we are piggyback riding them, we have no existence in UP. So when Rahul ji said that it's a little setback, it's not because he took that election lightly, like Dipankar ji said, but what he said is the stakes of the BJP were much higher, and I see a trend of return to a battle between 2 national parties as opposed to regional parties.
Okay.
And that is something which is heartening for a national party like ours.
Can I just say, Shushmita, yet again, if only you had spoken in place of Rahul and spoken as fully and convincingly as you have now, there'd be no misunderstanding. Perhaps your party leader should learn from you, and I mean that as a compliment to you rather than as a criticism of him. But Dipankar Gupta, let's move beyond just the comments made by Rahul. Would I be right in saying that the real problem for Congress emerges when you look beyond the results and ask, is there any hope or sign of a revival? What's your answer to that question?
Well, you see, Narendra Modi promised Congress Mukt Bharat, and that may be a bit of an overstatement, but what he has succeeded in doing is Gandhi Mukt Bharat. And I think that is an achievement of sorts, because as was mentioned earlier, Congress won in Punjab because of Amrinder Singh. Congress lost in UP because of the Gandhis. The Congress in UP, the Congress is identified with the Gandhis. In Punjab, it is with Amrinder Singh and with Mr. Ibobi Singh in Manipur. Therefore, it's a question of local leadership that actually played an important role. So the Congress party has to seriously introspect that the leadership image that they're putting across is not convincing at all. Wherever they have a convincing leader, that leader seems to do quite well. In the case of Punjab, which is a typical, you might even say a model case, is of a person who has stood his ground, has on many occasions opposed the ruling party or the Congress party, had a high command, and yet pulled it off simply on that account. Had he been a slave to the high command, maybe he wouldn't have done as well. In fact, I'm convinced he wouldn't have done as well.
You know, Kumar Ketkar, one reason why analysts have grave doubts about Congress's future prospects is because nothing seems to have been done to revive the party after the disastrous defeat in 2014. And even though Rahul Gandhi today is now talking about the need for structural and organizational changes, to many this sounds like simply saying the right thing rather than intending to act upon it. Would you agree with those doubts?
Yeah, I totally agree, because there has not been AICC held ever since the defeat in 2014. There has not been major CWC meeting held to discuss the defeat since 2014. Every single state unit was asked to prepare a report as to why they lost in their particular state. What happened to that inquiry, so-called inquiry into the party structure inside the state. Then every district president was asked to submit a report about the constituencies within his region to submit to the state committee why he lost. What happened to those reports? Then there was one commission appointed, I think, under Mr. Antony, as to understand why we were defeated so badly in 2014. What happened to that report? What happened to that inquiry? What happened to that so-called introspection? How many times they are going to introspect? I think by the time the party will be dead, and who will introspect later on? I think introspection has been going on for such a long time. So from 2014, actually they should have been alerted. After, as I said, Anna Hazare movement, at that time perhaps Rahul may not have been vice president, but he was very much active and one of the most recognized leaders. Sonia was perhaps abroad for her illness, but Rahul was in action. Rahul was in fact appointed by her to oversee the matters at that time in 2011. So since 2011 to 2016 and 2017, the elections in UP, what has the party done? Only introspection is going on, and that too only after the defeat the introspection is called for. What happened about the introspection when they were in power?
Absolutely.
And nothing has happened.
Rakesh Sinha, let me go back to history to find the examples which actually give Congress cause for hope. If Indira Gandhi could bounce back after her disastrous defeat in 1977, if the Tamil parties can repeatedly keep bouncing back after sweeping each other out of office in Tamil Nadu, and they seem to do it practically every 5 years, if the TDP can return to power after being twice decimated by Rajshekhar Reddy in 2004 and then again in 2009, surely we can't write off Congress so easily. Like the phoenix, and this has happened to other political parties, Congress can rise from the ashes. If they in the past could, so could Congress.
No, I think this theory can't be applied now at present, because you just see the difference between Indira Gandhi and Rahul Gandhi. Indira Gandhi represented the substantive dynastic leadership. Rahul Gandhi represented the symbolic dynastic leadership. Indira Gandhi had vision. She had people like C.M. Stephens. She had groomed leaders. Devraj Ars from Karnataka, C.M. Stephens from South, and a lot of leadership from the North India she had groomed. But Rahul Gandhi is not grooming any leader. Rather, contemporary leaders are being suppressed inside the Congress. Everybody knows who are being suppressed. So I think that this is the tragedy of the Congress party, that the decline of Congress party has been written by its own leadership. Second most important point is that as far as Rahul Gandhi is concerned, he lacks vision. A leader without vision can't remake his party. And Rahul Gandhi has only thing in his pocket, that is that he's part of the Nehru-Gandhi dynasty. Congress has to internalize the internal democracy. That begins with the democratization at the top. Unless you democratize at the top, there can be symbolic dynastic leadership. But at the top, there should be a host of leaders who are guiding the party. But there is no one to question Rahul Gandhi at present.
Sushmita Dev, the key issue, as pointed out there by Rakesh Sinha, is Rahul Gandhi himself. Does he have the political flair, the understanding, the grit, the talent, and the pure instinct for politics which his grandmother did? Because let me add that if he does have all of that, then he's hidden it so effectively, most people in the country believe he doesn't. And in fact, most people have concluded he's not fit for politics. So is he a Chupa Rustam who's hiding what he should be displaying, or is he actually the vacuum his critics claim he is?
Karan, I'll tell you, when we initially went into the alliance with Samajwadi Party, there was a real feeling amongst many of us and our critics that we may be able to pull it off. So one victory or few victories or many defeats don't make or break a leader. I mean, there have been India Shining campaign of Vajpayee ji and Pramod Mahajan ji, and they had a bad defeat. And yes, I admit that politics is about perception, public perception, and BJP has managed to create this public perception about Rahul Gandhi ji's leadership, and I think we as a party together need to work at it, because what we sometimes don't manage to highlight is today we have a Sachin Pilot ji in Rajasthan, we have a Ajay Makan in Delhi, we have a Scindia ji who is the chief whip, we have the Gaurav Gogoi, Sushmita Dev, all of us who are young faces of the Congress. To say that Rahul ji does not encourage young leaders is a fallacy. But yes, I admit that we have to fight harder to fight that perception that has been created by the BJP or our critics, and we have to recognize that he has given us an opportunity. It's just that sometimes I wonder, is it our failure that we have not been able to highlight of his leadership within the party?
Sheshadri Chaudhary, let me put something else to you. Quite often, it's events rather than the talent of the opposition leader that changes a party's fortunes. For instance, it was the acrimonious breakup of Janta in 1980 that propelled Congress back to power. It was Bofors that decimated Rajiv Gandhi in 1989. It was the Gujarat riots that defeated BJP in 2004, as Atal Bihari Vajpayee himself claimed. Who knows what might happen to Mr. Modi and the BJP between now and 2019 that could pull them down, trip them up, and push Congress to power. That unpredictable unknown is the factor that could work.
No, I don't see any unpredictable or predictable or known factor.
How could you see the unpredictable?
Because no. There is a what we call a negative voting and a positive voting. What BJP has been getting from 2014 onwards, and even in Uttaranchal and UP, is a positive vote. See, there is a change in the voter stage.
Oh, we've lost Mr. Chari at that point. Let me come to Dipankar Gupta. We'll come back hopefully to Mr. Chari later. Dipankar Gupta, let me tell you a little story which is actually very insightful. When asked what he feared most about politics, Britain's legendary Prime Minister Harold Macmillan replied, "Events, dear boy, events." And what he meant was the unexpected, the unpredictable that completely trips you up and changes the picture decisively. Rahul probably needs something like that to trip up Narendra Modi and to change the Congress's fortunes. But the problem is, can any party and can any leader build his hopes and plans on something that is unpredictable and can't be engineered?
There's no doubt that there's a great degree of unpredictability in elections. Otherwise, the conclusion of elections would have been known well in advance. There's no doubt about that. And it's also true that the winning party didn't win on its own. It's a context that's very important, how the opposition stacked up, etc., etc. When you talked about Mrs. Gandhi coming back to power, it was not solely because of Mrs. Gandhi's charisma, it's also because the opposition just crumbled and brought disrepute to itself. So yes, every election is a combination of events. It's not a story simply of the winner or of that of a loser. It is the way in which the two conspire together that gives us election results the way they do. So events are unpredictable, but the more important part is how well you're prepared to take on this unpredictable aspect of elections. It's like a game. You prepare yourself, you never know when the bouncer will come or which ball will turn viciously, but you prepare yourself, you do all the hard work, you train, you discipline yourself, and as Kumar Ketkar was saying time and time again, the Congress party has just not got its organization in order. Instead, it says that our stakes weren't high enough in UP, we didn't think it was serious, and then Rahul Gandhi is a good man. The point really is that he is not a political animal, and that's very, very important, and one should take that on board. I mean, there are many moments when this comes to light. The two that come to my mind instantly is when he tore the ordinance when Manmohan Singh was the chief minister, and the second was when he embarrassed Sheila Dixit very, very recently. Okay. And that is not something that any politician would do, and yet he did them. So I think Rahul Gandhi's main problem is not his lack of intelligence or any such thing, not his frivolity, but primarily he is not a political animal and doesn't think politically, in other words, doesn't think in terms of strategy in the long term.
You know, in fact, to build on the point you've just heard from Dipankar Gupta, Kumar Ketkar, it's not just that Rahul isn't a political animal. Many people believe he's not capable of the slow, hard grind of politics that is essential if you're going to change public opinion, build a support base, and bring your party back from adversity to power. Do you think Rahul Gandhi has that sort of grit and stamina? Or is that another problem he faces along with the lack of political animal instincts?
Well, actually, lack of political animal instinct is commonly used, but often it is meant that he is not expert in skullduggery, he is not expert in conspiracies, he is not expert in back channel negotiations or back channel controversies or back channel conspiracies. You know, he is not capable of that. That's a fact. He is sometimes naive, sometimes very sincere, but not completely connected to the people or to the political events, to talk of events. But just to have a rejoinder, Mrs. Sonia Gandhi in 1998, when she entered politics, she was not immediately in the process of elections, but she lost miserably 1998 election, she lost miserably 1999 election. Then after the debate and fall of the Vajpayee government in 1999, March and April, again there was a 2004 was the contest. Nobody thought Sonia Gandhi will win. India was shining and Mrs. Sonia Gandhi was completely considered a basket case. And even then in 2004, actually the margin of victory was very, very small, and yet she came. So the question is, nobody can be ruled out. Even Rahul cannot be ruled out. Rahul is sincere, Rahul is intelligent, but Rahul is perhaps naive and not in conventional skullduggery politics. The point is, whether Mr. Modi will fail or not is immaterial. Let us not treat 2019 as given.
Okay.
So just as Mrs. Gandhi from 1998 to 2009, similarly even Vajpayee, Sheshadri's reference was wrong. Vajpayee and Advani in 1994 when they lost, they came back only in 1998. They came back to power in 1998. So from 1984 to 1998, 14 years they were struggling. So it is not as if Rahul has struggled perhaps only for 3 years or 5 years.
I take your point.
He has not struggled
I'm cutting you short, sir. I need to bring others in. But you've made your point. You can't cut off and you can't rule out anyone. As you pointed out, it took the BJP 14 years after 84 to come to power, but they did it. Rakesh Sinha, there is something else that could help Congress. Without an effective and strong opposition to check them, both Mr. Modi and the BJP could become arrogant, and arrogance could breed complacency, and that could create their downfall as well. And let me point out that if that happens, it won't be the first time in history that a leader or his party has been the cause of its own fall. That is another pitfall that lies ahead of the BJP.
Coming to that, first I would make an observation on Rahul Gandhi. Look, Rahul Gandhi was a child when he became the leader of Congress. I consider him a kid. But he has been pampered, not groomed. There is a difference between pampering and grooming. That is the reason that Rahul Gandhi is not performing as a political animal in the politics. Any leader who goes by the instinct becomes unreliable for his cadres. Rahul Gandhi is a leader who always goes by his instinct and acts on the basis of instinct. As far as BJP is concerned, look, the BJP is a part of a larger movement, that is a Sangh Parivar movement. So BJP has a check and balance. BJP can't be arrogant. BJP can't lose its base.
Sir. India shining was arrogance.
India
shining was self-deception. India shining was a slogan that didn't reflect the reality, but BJP believed it and fell into a trap of its own making. So come on. Arrogance, complacency have bred the fall of the BJP before. It could happen again.
Mr. Thapar, BJP was defeated, BJP was not wiped out. There is a difference between the being defeated and being wiped out. Congress is being wiped out. It is moving towards the Congress Mukta Bharat as far as Punjab is considered.
Remember, the phoenix rises from ashes.
As far Punjab,
the phoenix rises from ashes.
No, sir. As far Punjab is concerned, BJP victory, Congress victory in Punjab is concerned. Everybody knows what is the region of the victory, how the vote has been polarized, of the Akalis vote and some. No, it is a polarization of the votes to stop an anarchist leader to take over the Punjab. That is one of the reasons. That's why I consider Amrinder Singh victory a victory of half Akali, half Congress. Not even a complete Congress now.
The question I asked you, we've gone on to other territory. Dipankar Gupta, let's look at this debate about Rahul Gandhi in a different light. There's a tendency that after a huge political victory to lionize the winner and rub the nose of the loser in the dirt. Is public opinion and perhaps the press in particular guilty of doing this as far as Rahul Gandhi is concerned?
Well, that I think is quite natural because the winner takes all in an election. You can't get a silver medal in elections. But I think one should also factor in the kind of context in which election is fought. Every election is a vital episodic moment, and that moment stands on its own. So often I've heard people say that this is a beginning, the next election will do better. Elections are not incremental in character.
Okay.
You won it or you've lost it. You've taken this moment or you have not. And I think that is where we make a mistake in seeing elections as if they were incremental and forgetting the episodic aspect of an event. Like an election.
Sheshadri, they say nothing succeeds like success, and the reverse is nothing is as remorseless as failure. Do you remember the period after Delhi and Bihar when everyone predicted the BJP was becoming unstuck? Just as that was an extreme response then, is it not possible that the response today about Rahul is equally hasty and equally extreme?
It is very true. Nothing succeeds like success. But after the failure, failure should become a stepping stone for success. But in case of Rahul, it appears that failure has become the cornerstone for his politics. Failure has become the foundation for his political life. So he seems to be failing. And in Indian politics, any political person or a party which has failed 3 times has not been given the chance of the 4th time. And I think that is what is happening to Mayawati, I think.
Okay.
So similarly, Rahul Gandhi is also being put in that category. I'm not saying, I'm differentiating between Rahul Gandhi and the Congress.
Okay.
I'm not saying that the Congress may not be revived. But as far as Rahul Gandhi is concerned, I think it's very unfortunate that he doesn't seem to be succeeding at all.
Shushmita Dev, let me take up that point and put it like this. In other major democracies, when leaders suffer serious defeats, they fall on their swords and they resign. That was true of Gordon Brown in Britain, Stephen Harper in Canada, Kevin Rudd in Australia, and you can go on and on and on. But in Rahul Gandhi's case, by failing to behave similarly, he's preventing fresh blood and better talent reviving Congress.
Karan, I will not agree there, because a basic tenet of democracy in a party also means that the person who leads us is the person who has the maximum acceptability as a leader. And I think Rahul ji within the party continues to have that acceptability. Others from the outside may well criticize him, that's their right in a democracy. But within the party, I can tell you that we accept him as our leader and will continue to. And I'd like to tell Rakesh ji that I hope you see the reading on the wall, that I don't know about Congress Mukh Bharat, but I can tell you what Narendra Modi ji has done with his style of leadership, which is nothing like Rahul Gandhi ji's, because Rahul Gandhi is a much more democratic leader. It's a BJP Mukh Bharat. This is a Modi Sarkar, and this is everything is about Modi.
The temptation
so
to
your
want
plan
to
B
score
should be
points
what
against
you
the
will do
BJP
after
or rival
Narendra
is
Modi ji steps
understandable,
down.
but let's not deflect. The only point I'll make about your answer is if Rahul Gandhi is the congressman with the most acceptability, then if that's true, and there's a huge if there, it's a terrible indictment of other congressmen. But let's leave that as a thought for the audience to consider. Kumar Ketkar, they say adversity can bring out the best in everyone. Now, the last 3 years undoubtedly have been absolutely dreadful for Rahul Gandhi. But do you see any sign that this is stiffening his spine?
Well, actually, I have known that victors always write history, but I did not know that victors nowadays also write psychology. I mean, everybody is doing psychoanalysis of Rahul Gandhi and trying to prove that he is a failure, he is incapable of politics, he is incapable of campaigns. It is only 4 or 5 or 6 years that he is in the party. The question is not giving him an opportunity. The question was whether he has done anything organizationally, and organizationally he has failed. That does not necessarily mean that Rahul Gandhi has failed. Congress has failed because every single district president or state president has not properly worked in his own campaign, and the apex leadership of Rahul Gandhi has not really worked. So therefore, let victors not write psychology of Rahul Gandhi also. Let us not forget 2019 is not given. And talking about arrogance, Manmohan Singh was not arrogant, Sonia Gandhi was not arrogant, Rahul Gandhi is not arrogant, Rajiv Gandhi was not arrogant, yet Rajiv Gandhi lost. And here is a Modi about whom BJP members in parliament say how arrogant he is and how he has created, how Modi has created fear psychosis in the BJP is what BJP members tell us.
Rakesh Sinha, I'm going to end by asking you a very different sort of question. Just as Theresa May, the British Prime Minister, believes that it's in her interest that Jeremy Corbyn, the leader of the opposition, continue as leader because he's believed to be doing such a terrible job, it's in Mr. Modi's interest, many would say, for Rahul Gandhi to continue at the top of the Congress party. But do you propose to do anything to ensure he does continue?
No, look, Congress can't survive without Nehru-Gandhi family. That has been ensured by the congressmen themselves. But my only suggestion to Congress party, if I think in terms of a Congress, a national party with a legacy of freedom movement, that Rahul and Sonia should renounce, that they should act as a monarch of the Britain rather than the Prime Minister of Britain. Once they declare that they won't take any position and post, they would remake the party, then there is the only hope that Congress can rise from the it can become a political party. And I disagree that district party presidents have not worked. Look, the Congress has the signed board.
Okay.
Except signed board and dynasty, Congress has no workers at the grassroots level. So Congress lacks the grassroots workers. Congress lacks policies and programs. Congress has to reconnect with itself, with the cultural nationalism. Only then Congress can survive. Without connecting itself with the cultural nationalism, no political party can survive, because India has shifted from Congress era to saffron era. Saffron era has arrived. It is not going to be wiped out so easily, so
I'm going to have to stop you there, but I'm going to end by quoting someone who sent me an SMS and said how good we Indians are at giving gratuitous advice, particularly when we are in the belief that we're helping a man who's down and out. That's a very interesting comment on us as people, how good we are at giving gratuitous advice, particularly when we believe we are helping a man who's down and out. That's the great joy of being a journalist or on a political panel when you're talking about political defeat. My thanks to all my guests for their wonderful advice. And if you have been, thanks for listening. Goodbye. Good night.